Up the pipe!
G'day guys, Nate here, coming at you with the round 23 preview of Collingwood v Adelaide, Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval, 7:35 p.m. start. There's no running, there's no hiding yet again. This is technically another 8-point game. I mean, is it really an 8-point game at this point, given the form and trajectory of where we're going compared to Adelaide? The minor premiership could be all but sewn up here for Adelaide, for Collingwood. Who bloody knows at this point? I'm alive. I'm well. I'm not too well. Been a bit crook in the last few days. Not because of our loss to Hawthorn. It's just a little bit under weather. So a few days off. I was honest. I didn't watch any amount of footy for round 22. So trying to move on from that. I'll talk a bit more about the game against Hawthorn. My final thoughts. Closure technically on round 22. And then moving on to this preview of Adelaide. I'm going to timestamp everything in this preview video as well. It's not going to be straightforward or free-flowing or anything like that. It's just going to be talking all things Collingwood. It's going to be a bloated video, so I do apologise for the length of this video, but hope you guys enjoy it. Hoping you guys stick through to it. Hope you guys stick around as well. Thank you everyone who subscribed recently. I know it was very reactive, the round 22 review. I was honest in not watching any footy. I wasn't honest in shaving my head Britney Spears style. However, that's still up in the air. If we get smacked against Adelaide or if we somehow miss finals, which I will talk about as well, I will shave my head. Before I get into this video, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel. Again, a lot of views for my round 22 review video, very reactive. Not a lot of subscribers coming out of it, but I do thank you all for joining recently. But I will start off this video with some positive news, and that is the contract extensions of Scott Pendlebury and Darcy Cameron. Darcy Cameron staying until the end of 2029. Scott Pendlebury playing on for season 21. The young upstart Scott Pendlebury playing on, most likely going to break Boomer Harvey's VFL AFL record for most games played. Darcy Cameron, what a great acquisition he's been for Collingwood. We got him from Sydney for a hot dog and a handshake, and now he's played 115 games for us, and he's currently the top five rucks in the competition. Arguably top three as well. For Collingwood at least, surely we've got two of the top three ruckmen on our books, Cameron and Brodie Grundy. Bit of murmurs and speculation that Darcy Cameron was a little bit unsettled or disgruntled with his current playing contract. Thank goodness we got him that bag. Staying on until the end of 2029. There was links to him returning home. I know it's weird to say because for ruckman and for tall players, they don't get homesick. I don't know what the hell the science is behind that. But for Darcy Cameron, he looks like a heart and soul player. The players love him. He loves the players. The club loves him. He loves the club. So most likely remains at Collingwood for the rest of his career. And who knows, maybe this uplifts the playing group and maybe other players who are out of contracts. They might get their money, they might get their bag, they might get their contract extension. Scott Pendlebury staying on as well, season 21 in 2026. It means we've got 16 Collingwood players out of contract at the end of this season. Expect still side bottom and Jeremy Howe to sign on for one more year. They've basically agreed to terms. Who knows with Jeremy Howe, though, with his recent concussion. Jamie Elliott, Brody Myercheck, both wanting 2 years. Bit of a watch this space there. Going to be tough to keep those two around and also still side bottom and Jeremy Howe. I expect Rowan Steele and Noah Howes to get 1 year contract extension, surely get a full pre-season at Collingwood. Will Parker has hit a performance trigger to stay on in 2026. I expect him to stay on at Collingwood. Besides that, though, everything else is all a watch this space. A lot of speculation still for Collingwood players out of contract, but I think we'll get that all sorted maybe before September, once the off-season hits fully for Collingwood. And while we're on the positive news for Collingwood, congratulations are in order to Collingwood's VFLW side, beating North Melbourne on the weekend by 13 points. I said I'd go there and watch it. I was a bit disgruntled myself, so I didn't go to watch the VFLW, didn't even watch the stream as well. Congratulations to the Pies VFLW side. They've got themselves another double chance. They play Box Hill Saturday morning, ETU Stadium, that's in Port Melbourne, for a chance to play off in the grand final. So if they beat Box Hill, they'll make the grand final. If they lose, they'll be in the prelim final, most likely playing North Melbourne again for a spot in the grand final. North Melbourne take on Williamstown for a spot in the prelim. I'll talk more about the semi-final in Port Melbourne. It's basically a double header for the VFL sides there. But again, Collingwood takes on Box Hill Hawks Saturday morning. Speaking of the Hawks, I do have to mention, I guess, the round 22 result, 64-point loss to Hawthorn. Try and get closure on this, try and move on from it. There's no excuses. Spare me the 5-day break bullshit. Spare me players being injured, Jeremy Howe going down within the first minute. Players out of form, that's no excuse. Another top 8 side, tough fixture, no excuse. We've bottled a 10-point lead on top. We now sit third. The only result that went our way over the weekend was Sydney beating Brisbane. And if you give Brisbane 2 more minutes against Sydney, they probably win that game. And I don't want to be the guy that's negative or clickbaity or rage baiting or whatever. Things were looking good for us earlier in the year. May 30th, my most popular review video was us beating Hawthorn by 51 points. May 30th. Things were looking good. Things were magnificent. Time flies, and we've had the worst loss of the year, probably the worst loss I've seen. It's hands down the worst loss I've attended since the round 24 loss to Geelong in 2011. We lost that game by 96 points. In the last 15 years, we've lost by 10 plus goals 16 times. It's the second worst loss I've ever attended. It's one of the worst losses I've ever seen. Oh, definitely home and away. It's up there. Is it worse than our loss to Hawthorn last year? That's to be debated. That's to be determined, I reckon. Depends on how we perform in the last two games. But yeah, this was very disappointing. Lack of effort, lack of fight. Jeremy Howe goes down the first minute. Darcy Moore blunder in the first few minutes. And here's the kicker as well. Prior to this season, 33 times a team has been 10 points clear or 10 plus points clear on top of the AFL ladder. Of those 33 teams, 30 have gone on to make the grand final. 3 teams have fallen in the prelim final. But either way, that's top 4 guaranteed. Right now for Collingwood, we have not even guaranteed top 4. We haven't even guaranteed top 8 as well. I just want to win a game, beat Adelaide or beat Melbourne, and try and cement top 4, top 6, top 8, top whatever. We've got a lot of work to do, and we've got to try and figure this out in the next 6 weeks. Try and figure out in the next 2 weeks at least, and try and cement finals. The last time a team's won a premiership having lost by 10 plus goals prior, or 2 months prior to winning the flag, was in 1994. That was West Coast. We did lose by 83 points to Hawthorn in 1990, then went on to win the premiership, but this looks like a taller order. We've lost 4 of the last 5 games. We haven't beaten a top 8 side since May 30th against Hawthorn. Gold Coast, we didn't kick a goal for the first 2.5 quarters. Freo, we squandered multiple leads, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Patrick Voss kicked 6 goals. The play that sticks out to me still, and it still pisses me off, Jamie Elliott missing a simple set shot. A minute later, Freo get it out of quick transition. I grab a handball from a Freo player. Ed Allen runs past it. Jager Amira picks it, or they pick it up, handball at Jager Amira. Jager Amira has a shot for goal. Lucky bounce goes through for a goal, goes past 2 of our diving defenders, and we lose that game by a point. That still pisses me off right now. The loss to Brisbane, we just looked second rate. Logan Morris, 6 goals. Henry Smith, 3 goals, and their midfield group much better than us. And then the Hawthorn game, we were just beaten everywhere. It didn't matter what Billy Frampton did. No, he was exposed. Darcy Moore, say no more, no pun intended. We don't have the right midfield balance as well. It's not injuries that are our concern. Managing players and I guess having an unsettled lineup, best 23, that is a concern still. Expect at least 2 changes as well with Bo McCreary and Bobby Hill coming in. Besides that, though, we're a bit of a shambles. We don't know what our best 23 looks like. Our best form, our best settled side as well in their best positions and utilising their strengths and whatnot. But there is a path for us to miss finals, and that includes Freo beating Brisbane, GWS beating Gold Coast, Hawthorn beating Melbourne, and then we lose to Adelaide, and we end up being behind Hawthorn on percentage. The Dogs beat Eagles. Come on now, it's going to happen. We lose to Melbourne. Giants beat St Kilda. Dogs beat Freo. And Brisbane beat Hawthorn, but Hawthorn remain on top of us on percentage. And Gold Coast beat one of Port Adelaide or the Bombers. And we miss finals altogether. It's a long shot, but it's still possible. So you're telling me there's a chance. That's what the neutral fans are saying. That's what the haters are saying. And it's possible. I mean, with our form, we're going to be the underdogs against Adelaide. We're not a guarantee to beat Melbourne either, but based on expected results, we still somehow finish 4th, lose to Adelaide, beat Melbourne. Other results go our way, but I'm not too confident. I just want to see one more win, guarantee finals, because things are falling off a cliff right now. We steadied the ship beating Richmond, but we've realised we're heading in the wrong direction, so we're going to turn the ship around. We're in a weird spot right now because based on last round's results, only Brisbane losing to Sydney went our way. Besides that, no other results went our way. Freo coming back to beat Port Adelaide. Adelaide coming back to beat West Coast. Bulldogs coming back to beat Melbourne. Other results not going our way. But Brisbane losing to Sydney, what that means is if we win our last 2 games, we are guaranteed top 4. Whether it's first, second, third, or fourth, doesn't matter. We'll be cemented for top 4. That also includes Gold Coast with their remaining game as well. But if we lose to Adelaide, then all options are on the table. We will likely fall out of the top 4 if we lose to Adelaide. And then who knows from there. So a lot of finals machinations, all because we lost by 64 points to Hawthorn. Again, it's one of the worst losses I've ever attended, one of the worst losses I've seen. But I just need to mention it before I move on into the round 23 review. 4 out of the last 5 games we've lost, 64-point loss to Hawthorn. We need to bounce back. Going to be a very tough bounce back as well against Adelaide, the best team in the competition. I did the compare the pair for Adelaide, and my God, we are going to be screwed. They basically are in the top 8 for a lot of key stats. The only stats they're not top 8 in disposal efficiency, their tackles inside 50, and their turnovers. They are the number 1 ranked side for turnovers in the competition. I can't believe that, but they are a high risk, high reward side. They bomb it long, the contest. They're not a run and dash or run and carry game, but they are just so efficient, so potent, so dynamic up forward. And their defense is so underrated. Mark Keane, former Collingwood boy, standing up. And because of our loss to Hawthorn by 64 points, we are no longer the best defensive side in the competition. That belongs to Adelaide, but we can get that back. We would have to win by over 13 points to be the best defensive side in the competition again, but that's a bit of a tall order just to beat Adelaide. Besides that, though, we've got our work cut out for us against Adelaide, but it would be such a Collingwood thing to somehow beat Adelaide and then lose to Melbourne, or beat Adelaide here, then lose to Adelaide in the qualifying final, or lose to Adelaide, beat Melbourne, finish fourth, face Adelaide in the qualifying final, then beat them there. But it's all up in the air. It's all watch the space. It's on us. Again, turn the ship around. But I'm not going to give Collingwood a pass if we improve in all areas of our game and still lose to Adelaide because we still haven't cemented ourselves for finals if we lose to Adelaide. Now, I am a superstitious person, so I don't want to jinx anything or bring on the Moz, but I need to be upfront and honest about this because we are playing Adelaide. We've beaten Adelaide 10 times in a row. We've won 10 games in a row at the Adelaide Oval. Our head-to-head over Adelaide is all one-sided, 35 wins, 15 losses and a draw dating back to 2017. Again, 10 wins in a row against Adelaide, 11-game unbeaten streak against Adelaide. The last loss against Adelaide being in 2016. 2017 was the draw, and then we haven't lost to them since. 10 games in a row, or 10 wins in a row at the Adelaide Oval. Last loss was in 2017 against Port Adelaide, and the last loss at the Adelaide Oval to Adelaide, 2016. And the last time we played Adelaide, we won by 10 points, 11-12, 78 to 10-8, 68. Those were the days when Billy Frampton kept Riley Thilthorpe goalless. Braden Maynard was the captain. Nick Dacos had a decent game, but it's all gone downhill since. It's night and day how we look now compared to how we beat Adelaide, how we beat Hawthorn last time. 10-point win over Adelaide last time we played. I've identified 10 players that concern me right now. Now, Kate McCarthy and Xander Maguire identified 7 players for us. I've got the 7 players here, but I've identified a few more. But just bear with me with the last 3 names. The 7 players that are of concern who have dropped off massively in the last month and a bit. Dan McStay, he's only kicked 2 goals in the last 5 games. He's not kicking goals. There's no set role. Now, it's not entirely his fault when we manage Brody Mychek, when we manage Tim Membry, bring in Mason Cox as well, we don't know what Dan McStay's proper role is. Is he a key forward? Is he a key defender? Is he a pinch hitting ruck? What is his exact role? I think managing players and offsetting his set role has impacted his form. Only 2 goals in the last 5 games. His pressure around the contest has dropped off as well, pinching in the ruck and also tackling. And he's gone down in score involvements as well. Jamie Elliott, another one not kicking goals. Now, it's harsh on him because he kicked 7 goals in the last 5 games. But his marking abilities, his scoring involvements, his disposal use as well has all gone down. Ned Long, another one that's concerning. Contested possession games gone down. And also the clearance work. His tackling pressure is still there. That's maintained. And this is not because Tom Mitchell's coming to the side. It's gone to the point where he might get the John Noble treatment in September, if we make it to September, that is. But we still need Ned Long for his pressure and his tackling ability, particularly against Adelaide here. Jack Crisp, inefficient with disposals. Not so much the numbers. His numbers, disposals, tackles, it's maintained, but his scoring involvement's gone down. And the thing I've noticed with Jack Crisp, he's just too fumbly, particularly below the knees, double grabbing everything, dropping simple marks, dropping everything as well, coming towards his way, not handballing well, not kicking well, still side bottom, being moved to an outside midfield role, more so on the wing, less disposals, less contested possessions, less clearances, less scoring involvements, less inside 50 entries as well. Dan Houston, I mean, come on. He averages 17 disposals this year compared to Port Adelaide last year. He averaged 23 disposals. Indecisive as well. It's just, yeah, it feels like we've been sold a lemon. To be fair, though, Lockie Schultz, he didn't have a good year last year. That's what Dan Houston is for us right now. So hopefully he turns it around in the next few weeks. Darcy Moore losing one-on-one battles. He just looks lost right now. He's the opposite of Nick Maxwell. Not so much the numbers, but one-on-one contests. He let Patrick Voss kick 6 goals. Logan Morris kicks 6 goals as well. And a few other players I've mentioned as well. And it's not their fault, but Lipinski, decrease in disposals since being managed against Gold Coast. His scoring involvements and inside 50 entries have gone down. Braden Maynard, not so much his disposal use, but more so the score launches, not there. Now, whether that's because we are scoring less, but Braden Maynard's not being utilised the best to his abilities. And Will Hoskin-Elliott, he averages under 8 disposals a game in the last 5 games. Surely someone younger can come in for him, whether it's DeMattia, Ed Allen, Finn McRae, Roan Steele, Will Hayes, surely someone. But again, I've identified 10 players. Surely if these 10 players can lift, that's we look like a 5 goal better side. 5 to 8 goals, conceding less goals, kicking more goals as well. Again, Jordan De Goey returning from injury, Bobby Hill returning from injury, Jeremy Howe returning from injury as well, Billy Frampton returning from injury, all these players returning from injury, players returning to form. Nick Dacos, if he has a dance partner in the midfield. Seems like in recent weeks, if you stop Nick Dacos, you stop Collingwood. And that's the last thing we need right now as a team, as a club. If you stop Nick Dacos, you stop Collingwood. Now, typically, I would have the keys to victory for this game, but we've lost 4 of the last 5 games. Adelaide are on a winning streak, so the onus is on Collingwood to bounce back and to improve. And I've got 10 areas of improvement for Collingwood to lift here. The first one is getting the midfield balance right. Nick Dacos needs to start in the midfield, no questions asked. But what is our best midfield group? What is our midfield core? Other teams in the top 8, top 9, even Sydney, have got their midfield balance right. What's our best midfield group right now? Is it Nick Dacos, Jordan De Goey at his peak, and Tom Mitchell, Pendlebury on the outside, side bottom on the outside, Chris the pinch hit, McCreary the pinch hit as well once they all return? We also need discipline at stoppages, and this is particularly in the forward half and inside 50. Teams are just walking it out of stoppages. We are not set up well at stoppages. We've got players trailing, getting to the stoppages. I think they're expecting the outside handball and then trying to get a scoring involvement from there, but it's not happening. We need everyone, all hands on deck in the stoppages. Our forward 50 connection needs to improve, and also our leading patterns inside 50, they're non existent. McStay, Mychek, Membry, Jamie Elliott, even Jordan De Goey as well. All these leading patterns confuses everyone. The forward 50 connection's been atrocious. It's dropped off massively, and it's not because of Patrick Lipinski's lack of involvement. It's everyone bombing it long to contests. There's no Mason Cox there, so we don't have the height to take those contested marks inside 50. And we just need to improve our efficiency with ball in hand, whether it's the handballing, kicking overall. Another area of improvement is just setting up defensively. We're not going to always be perfect. Our forward 50 entries will be turnovers, but if we can set up defensively, then we should be able to cover that mistake. Using the corridor and taking calculated risks. Dan Houston turning it over with his decision making last week against Hawthorn. It's not just Dan Houston, though, it is everyone. We used to have nuts. We used to have big balls, bollocks. I just want to be able to use the corridor again and also just shut down the opposition's use of the corridor as well. We are just getting destroyed on quick transition, switching it up, using the corridor. And from defense to attack, we also need to improve our set shot accuracy still. It's been a thorn in our side all year. It's cost us games, but it is something to improve on yet again. We also need to be better below the knees. This will likely be wet weather conditions against Adelaide. The onus is on Jack Crisp, all these midfielders as well. No more double grabbing or shit like that. And the last 2 areas of improvement is just simple. Effort, effort, effort. Bit of pressure, but a lot of effort. Hunger, fight. We won't know what the hunger levels look like until we play Adelaide on Saturday night. And the last area of improvement is just going back to winning ways. If we are to win the premiership, it starts here against Adelaide. Beat the Adelaide Crows, most likely play them week 1 finals at the Adelaide Oval. We know how to beat them there. We know how to beat Adelaide overall. So for us to win the premiership, it starts now. I'm not going to give Collingwood a pass if we somehow lose this game, but improve on all areas. So the onus is on us to respond here. Win, lose, or draw, we need to bounce back. Now, just a bit of a health check for Collingwood players. Bo McCreary and Bobby Hill will be assessed, but I think they'll both play. Jeremy Howe out with concussion, most likely, or likely, 50-50. Sorry for going from most likely to 50-50, but misses the Adelaide game. Not too sure if he gets up for the Melbourne game, and a few other depth players as well. Charlie West, 4 weeks away. I expect Jacob Ryan to be out for the season. Smith as well. TJ, Sullivan, Harrison, McInnes all out for the season with their injuries. My selection speculation is this. 3 changes, Bo McCreary, Bobby Hill returning, and I think Mason Cox will play. And I think Jeremy Howe, well, that's not, I think that's definite, he's out. Will Hoskin-Elliott dropped, and dropping Dan McStay as well. That's a tough call to make. But Dan McStay, he hasn't looked the same since kicking that 60-metre bomb against Carlton. Jack Crisp hasn't looked the same since kicking that goal from the boundary against Carlton. But Dan McStay, it's not entirely his fault. He's dropping form in recent weeks. Mycheck being managed, Membry being managed, Cox coming in, Cox coming out. Jeremy Howe being knocked out in the first minute, Dan McStay being used as a defender. I'm not too sure what his set role is, but he needs a set role this weekend. Now, there's 3 options with Dan McStay. Option 1, he remains in the side as a key forward and key forward only. Option 2, he plays against Adelaide, but he's a key defender only, maybe moving forward in the final quarter if the game's on the line. And option 3 is we drop Dan McStay to the VFL and goes back to, or tries to get back his form in the VFL as a key forward, plays alongside Noah Howes and Ash Johnson in the forward line, and pinch hits in the ruck alongside Oscar Steen. His job would be to get us the win and guarantee us top 6, and then have the week off in the VFL or return against Melbourne. But I think it's high time for Mason Cox to return, provide that chop out for Darcy Cameron. If Darcy Cameron can fill a hole down back, it's a few goals we can save, particularly against Adelaide. Riley O'Brien is a similar character or a similar player to Darcy Cameron. I mean, he's likely a heart and soul player for Adelaide as well. But for Mason Cox, provides that chop out for Darcy Cameron in the ruck, and also provides height up forward. He could very well nullify Mark Keane, Josh Worrell, Wayne Miller, all these players that can intercept well. But in regards to selection speculation, it's all watch this space. I will have the final word video up either Thursday night or Friday morning. I'm leaning towards Friday morning because the AFLW does return Thursday night. Collingwood will take on Carlton Thursday night at Icon Park. That's a 7:15 p.m. start. There's 4 Collingwood games on. Thursday night, again, AFLW. Saturday morning is the VFLW against Box Hill. Win that game, we're into the VFLW Grand Final. Lose, we'll take on the winner of North Melbourne and Williamstown next week at Port Melbourne. I'm not too sure what the time of that game will be. VFL Final Round, that's against Port Melbourne. I'll talk about that a little bit more. And the AFL, Saturday night, Adelaide Oval against the Adelaide Crows. In regards to the round 23 review, they'll likely be done Sunday morning unless we get smacked against Adelaide. But it's all watch this space. I say I'll do the recording of the review at this point in time, but then we get smacked or something happens and I do the review straight away. So I don't want to be too reactive, but going to have to wait and see how we perform against Adelaide to know when I'll do the review. But just on the VFL, I'm going to make mention of this because there's quite a few machinations involved for the final round of the VFL. We're in a weird spot here in the VFL. We're in 6th spot. Interesting position. We can finish as high as 4th, but as low as 9th. Now, in terms of finishing 4th, we would need Brisbane to beat Frankston by about 3 goals, and then we have to beat Port Melbourne by about 20 plus goals. Highly unlikely that's going to happen. Most likely case, Brisbane beat Frankston. That's in Brisbane, by the way. We beat Port Melbourne, and then Richmond play Williamstown. Now, on percentage, we're only 0.5% or 0.5% ahead of Richmond. So we could beat Port Melbourne and then fall the 7th based on Richmond smacking Williamstown. We play Saturday. Richmond play Williamstown Sunday. So we won't know for sure where we finish up. But just to make mention of that, because the VFL used the wildcard round. So next week, 7th will face 10th and 8th faces 9th. We don't know where we're going to finish. We beat Port Melbourne. We finish inside the top 7. That's a guarantee. 6th or 7th, most likely. We lose. We can fall down to as low as 9th. We could be on the road week 1 VFL finals. That's the wildcard round next week. I get that confused. If we finish 6th, we'll take on the winner or the highest ranked winner in the wildcard round. 4 Collingwood games. I'm expecting at least 2 wins. Hopefully not high expectations, but they'll probably be in the VFLW and possibly VFL. I'm not expecting wins in the AFL, but who knows? Who knows? This club never ceases to amaze me. The round 23 review will be up on Sunday. And then in regards to round 24, I'll have the preview up at some point during the week. The round 24 review, however, will be uploaded Sunday morning. That's a guarantee. I'll be at the game Friday night, but I've got plans Saturday, all of Saturday that is, but I'll likely do the recording of that Sunday night or Saturday night and then upload it Sunday morning. Hopefully we are cemented for finals by next week. But that is all for this bloated round 23 preview of Collingwood v Adelaide. Whole lot of nothing, but thank you all for sticking around to the end of it. Hoping you guys have had a good week so far. Please be well. Please be safe. Magpies out. Up the play!